Working with investors, the point is not to work, it's to generate income. Working with investors means you got to know the numbers. Investors are number-based. We are unemotional. Does that mean we don't love our children or have feelings? And if somebody calls us names, we don't hurt? Yes, of course we do. But we're real estate investors. We get over it. If somebody doesn't pay rent, we evict them. If somebody doesn't want to sell the house to us, we move on to somebody else. If somebody tries to sell a house to us for more than we're willing to pay, we move on to somebody else. And we're always very, very cutthroat when it comes to the numbers. Real estate agents, we're kind of the same, aren't we? We just want to go and find somebody who's willing to sell their house and pay us a commission. We don't care what they sell the house for. We just want our money, right? That's how it kind of is. Like at the end of the day, we're like, dude, whatever you want to sell it at. But if we sell it for less, we'd make more. Real estate agents and real estate investors were trained to negotiate home sellers' prices down. We want basically closings happening. We don't care who pays what, how it gets done. We want closings happening. This training is about increasing your income. And one of the problems that we have as investors is finding the deals, right? We're just looking for better deals, right? Wholesalers, we're looking for better deals. Buy and hold investors, looking for better deals. Flip investors, looking for better deals. Real estate agents, we're looking for people looking to sell their houses. And so when you think about investing and making money, now, bigger pockets. Who's on bigger pockets? Hands to the camera if you on BP. Hell yeah. Me too. All of my money comes from bigger pockets. Every student I've ever trained is on bigger pockets. Every client I've ever worked with as an investor is on bigger pockets. And when I went to raise capital, I go to bigger pockets. Does that make sense? Excellent. Passive investors hang on bigger pockets as well. Your buyers are on bigger pockets right now. They're in there searching, reading, hunting. Has anybody heard of the Dream 100 before? Hands to the camera if you've heard of it. Okay. So the Dream 100 philosophy, where I came up with 100 millionaires, the philosophy is that if you surround yourself with 100 people who have your audience, and you just hang out with those people and serve those people, they will give you all the business your heart could ever desire. And as a real estate agent, I started looking and saying, who's my Dream 100? And what I realized is I don't have a Dream 100 as an agent. I have a Dream 1. It's bigger pockets. That's where all of my clients hang out, is on BP. They're in the forums. So I started writing a blog. I started jumping into the forums saying, hey, what's up? How you doing? And then what I realized was something very, very, very interesting. As much as that was fun, and as much as that seemed valuable, it wasn't until I went and searched for my state. I typed into Bigger Pockets members, then I went over to my state, that I realized there were thousands of real estate investors in my state right now. And so when I went in and said, hey, I also live in Massachusetts, was a state I was in at the time. I also live in Massachusetts, and I see that you're in the same state. What's your experience in real estate investing? And what are your goals for this year? And then I copied and I pasted that into 20 different messages. And shortly thereafter, I started getting messages of people who are saying, oh, I haven't really done much. I'm learning. I'm thinking about it, but I'm thinking about getting wholesaling, or I'm thinking about, buying a rental property, but I haven't really figured out what area to be in. And as an agent, I was like, well, let's have a conversation. What do you think a good area would be good for you? What do you think is your goal? How much have you saved? Have you gotten pre-approved? Are you going seller financing? Are you going subject to existing financing? What kind of financing do you have options for? Are you doing flips? Are you doing single families? Are you doing multifamilies? Do you need hard money? Do you need private money? Do you need to learn how to raise capital? Are you going commercial on this? Are you doing asset-based lending? And by asking these questions, they realized I knew what I was talking about, and they became loyal. And from that point forward, who here has heard that buyers are liars? Hands to the camera if you heard buyers are liars. Yeah. Not true. Buyers are buyers. You've just got to teach them how to buy. If you taught a buyer how to find all the money, how to find the deals, and how to close a deal, and how to manage a deal, will they not buy over and over and over? Of course. There's only two things required to be a buyer. First is a burning desire. They have to want it. They have to want property. The second one's the money. And I put the money second because you can find just about any money if the deal's good enough. Does that make sense? I don't use money in my real estate, not my own money anyway. I do raise capital. If you don't invest in real estate with your own money, What do you invest in? Everything else. I don't need money to buy deals, right? I just leverage the equity in the property already. Ken runs across this deal, right? He's an investor. He's always talking, negotiating, networking, like find other investors looking to buy properties. Everybody who runs into Ken knows that Ken is buying real estate. Does that make sense? So that is a powerful asset. And that's how I started building my empire also. Everybody he comes into contact knows he's buying real estate. And so Ken goes out and he ends up communicating with these guys, and he's at one of our events and he says, hey, would you buy? And I'm like, hey, I'm buying, buildings. I'm buying buildings, 20 units plus 20 to 40 units. And he's like, would you do a condo deal? And I'm like, well, depends on the price. And when he said the price, 40,000 a unit, I was like, well, yeah, I do condos, right? I'm very interested in condos right now at that price.
You were a quick conversion.
It was like that. I've always said no to condos at 40,000 a unit. I'm ready to learn. So we pick this deal up. Well, we get it under contract. Now, we're not the first to get under contract. Many other people have got it under contract around the same price, and we lock it down at 840. And we're going through financing. 6 banks say no. 6 of the best banks in our area say no to closing on this deal. And other investors are talking to me, like other sophisticated investors who've done really good deals in the city are saying, hey, man, like I couldn't figure it out. Like, how are you doing that? And I didn't have an answer, but I knew I was closing on it. I ended up going with hard money. I went with hard money, and I raised another $300,000 for the down payment because hard money required it. And so I ended up raising $900,000 at 12%. Who here knows that $900,000 at 12% means $900,000 means I'm spending $9,000 a month to carry that building. The math added up real quick, right? It's very simple math. $9,000 a month to carry a building. That brings in $16,000 a month. So it's okay to go hard money on a big buy and hold like that if you've got the rents there, if you can stomach it. We've been carrying that for the last 15 months. 15 months, we spent $9,000 a month to carry that building. We're refinancing it this week, and we're cutting down the cost of that building down to $4,000 a month. So you do it a little hard in the beginning, a little difficult in the beginning, but once you get into cheap money, that's a no-brainer all day, right? That's not the best part. We had it appraised because our hard money lender required an appraisal. We had it appraised at $100,000 a unit, all 24 units, $100,000. That's $2.4 million. That's $1.5 million in equity. That's what we call in the business a slam dunk, a home run. It's possible to do this without money. Now, here's where it gets a little crazier. We just had it reappraised 1 year later, 15 months later, had it reappraised. The average unit got appraised at 116. 116 is the average unit appraisal. We just made an additional $320,000. Yes, this makes sense. The numbers make sense. We looked like we lost about $120,000, right, in carrying costs and carrying this extra interest every single month, right? We looked, maybe we lost maybe $60,000 in extra cost because the rest would be real interest. But then when you look at the equity we got from buying it and holding it, the appreciation makes it worth it, yes? So real estate, you can buy without your own money, but you do have to get good at raising other people's money. Buyers are in abundance. There's more buyers than there are sellers. We're in what's called a seller's market. Who's heard that before? Seller's market. Yes? Excellent. Okay. We're all sophisticated real estate investors, real estate agents here. So in a seller's market, it means supply and demand is on the seller's side. There's less supply on the sell side and more demand on the buy side. So when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, right? So if it's hard to get sellers, there's not a lot of sellers, all the other agents are competing for sellers, I'm not even talking to sellers. I'm going after the buyers. I'm going after what everybody else calls a liar. I'm just going to get sharper. I'm just going to get better at it. I'm going to work with where the money is, right? If there's all this extra stuff hanging around, and the only problem is that there's bidding wars and competing and people aren't getting deals, perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and find those buyers, and I'm going to teach them how to out-negotiate everybody else. I'm going to teach them how to put in the right offers that get accepted. I'm going to make sure we're there before everybody else. I'm gonna use my network and my communication skills with other agents to say, hey, get my guy in. My guy's a closer. We don't know about these other chumps, these other investors, right? but I'm the investor. I'm the one who works with real investors. So my guys close. Does that make sense? You work on that relationship with other agents. You get them in and make sure that your people do close. Of course, make sure they do have the money. And do you know the number one reason a buyer doesn't close? Once something goes under agreement, do you know the number one reason? Financing fell apart. Financing does not fall apart for me. We just get a little tougher. Does that make sense? We just do things that nobody else is willing to do, right? If we got to go hard money, if we got to go raise capital, if we've got to go and find the money, look, that just means I have less free time for the next few weeks. But then when it's done, I don't have to work for the rest of my life. Does that make sense? We get that? So being able to go out and find buyers and turn them into investors. So when I refer to my clients, I don't refer to them as buyers. And when I refer to my students, I don't refer to them as my students. They're investors. These are people that buy real estate. Like every one of my students is an investor. Every one of my buyers is an investor. Every one of my friends is investors, right? They're investing their time with me. They're investing their time in themselves. They're investing in real estate. I don't hang out with broke people. I just don't have it in me. I'm so past it. I just want to move people forward. I move people. And when I say broke, I mean temporarily broke. I'll chill with a temporarily broke person, right? Temporary brokenness is okay with me, but the poor mindset, I can't chill. I can't do it. I can only spend time with people who are growing, who are looking to get to the next level. It's okay to have a financial situation. Look, I've run into them a couple times in my life. Even with those condos, that looked like a financial situation to a lot of people. Does that make sense? To a lot of people, like breaking even on something of that size, or even paying out on some months we had to do renovations, looks like a bad deal, right? To other investors are like, oh man, I would never do that. Well, that explains why you're still working and I get to do this for a living. We agree? Sometimes you got to do whatever it takes to close the deal, as long as the numbers work, as long as the equity is there, and as long as you got a couple of exit strategies, a refinance, rent, a flip. We flipped a couple condos to burn and turn them to keep them going, right? We flipped 2 condos, made $200,000. That covers the portfolio for an entire year and a half. It's about teaching your investors to get to the next level, right? An investor who's looking to buy 1-2 houses a year, every year until they're rich, is the only kind of client a real estate agent should be looking for. Here's another fun fact. Real estate agents tend to like to work with retail buyers. Retail buyers tend to buy 1 house every 7 years. Retail buyers buy 1 house every 7 years. Real estate investors buy 7 houses in the same amount of time if they're slacking, right? Their goal by year 7 is to be able to buy 7 houses in that year. Does that make sense? Everyone of you knows what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. Give yourselves a round of applause by being somebody who wants to get to that kind of unit count. If you want to get there, you've got to educate yourself. You got to build a team, and you got to stop making excuses. Look, if you're not putting offers in this week, you're not closing deals 2 months from now, 3 months from now. If you're not putting offers in next week, you're not closing deals 2-3 months from now. That's what the mentorship is all about. The mentorship is me saying no more excuses, no more BS. What I do for you, for investors, you need to do for your clients. Does that make sense? Who here is wholesaling? Wholesalers? When you talk to a seller, it's no more excuses. It's like, hey, you're going to move your life forward? You're going to get out of the situation, or you're going to stay here forever? Because let's be real. If you stay here, you're going to get what you had. But if you sell this house, you get to a new life, you're going to get the new opportunities. Your house poor right now. Your house rich, money poor. You want this stuff. I got this stuff, and you got the house that I'm looking for. Does that make sense? If you want to make money as a wholesaler, you build all that skill of finding sellers, negotiating with sellers, going out to the houses, like doing the deals, locking it down. You're going to make more money carrying your real estate license. Because your real estate license, you're going to do a deal every 3 appointments you're on. As a wholesaler, it's going to be every 10. And if you miss that 10th one, you got to go another 10. It could be 20. Does that make sense? Whereas a real estate agent, you can sharpen up much faster in the same amount of time. You can sharpen up. You can do 3-4 appointments before you start figuring it out, and it's okay. Whereas you miss that one on house number 10, man, you're broke for the next 2-3 months. The secret is you hold that property, because who cares about the cash flow? The cash flow is literally just there to make sure that the properties hold themselves long enough for them to appreciate. The cash flow is there to make sure that the properties hold themselves long enough for you to pay down the debt, and that's when you really make money, or for them to appreciate enough for you to sell the properties to roll into a passive income structure. Something like a DST with a Delaware statutory trust, or a syndication, or a real estate investment trust, or some sort of dividend paying stock, right? Like something that's super truly passive, because rental property is not passive. Been doing this for a long time. I've been owning real estate for the last 7 years, 8 years. And I'll tell you what, there's nothing passive about it. Landlords, you know what I'm talking about? Where my landlord's at? Yeah. Passive my ass. Even like though I got property managers out there and they're running everything, I'm still involved. I still gotta be like, okay, well, yeah, well, how about we cut back on those expenses? Like maybe no on the window this month. Maybe next month we do the window, right? Like there's still decisions made. There's still money that goes out. There's still some months that don't cash flow. There's still some months that do cash flow and then some that don't. And some where I'm like, shit, I can't believe I'm writing a check right now. Landlords know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It is a storage of wealth. Real estate is like this stuff. It's silver, right? But it pays a dividend, right? It pays a rent. It covers itself. It does sometimes make money, and it goes up unlike any other asset. Silver goes up 2% a year. Real estate on average goes up 5%. In the past few years, it's gone up 7%. Some markets, it's gone up 10%. Does that make sense? Silver, you cannot leverage this asset. You cannot go to the bank, put a down payment down, and they won't let you buy silver. Real estate, you can buy it with no money down as long as there's equity in the property, equity in the deal. It's called asset-based lending. You can buy it with no money down as long as you raise the capital from somebody else. Hard money, you go raise hard money, raise private money. You do no money down if you raise all private money. You do no money down if you go VA, FHA, or USDA loans, or Rhode Island housing loans. You can do a lot of different strategies to go no money down with real estate. Does that make sense? But still have the leverage of a $300,000 asset or $200,000 asset or $500,000 asset. So here's the thing with Bitcoin or stocks or silver. If they go up 10%, and let's play with a big number, $100,000, right? $100,000. You put 100 in, and Bitcoin goes up double. So now it's worth $200,000. But that same real estate, $100,000, you put that in, it allows you to purchase a $500,000 property. Let's say real estate goes up double. Let's say that value increases because you bought it at a super discount and that goes up double. You made $1 million. It goes up to $1 million. Does that make sense? Because it's leveraged. It's leveraged using other people's money. And now you can take that equity, pay off that debt, and you're walking away with a check. $600,000 check. Does that make sense? Getting 100 back plus the 5. Does this happen in real estate? Does the market go up double? No. Can you buy Bitcoin at a discount? No. But can you buy real estate at a discount? Yeah. Because it's not sophisticated people selling it. Try buying silver at a discount. It's hard because the price is out there. Everybody knows the price. Go online, bam, price of silver. That's what you get, right? Real estate's not like that. Real estate, every single house is different. Every single house is different. You can get a discount on a house because that person's desperate. You grasp this? Can you buy Bitcoin at a discount? Yes, of course you can. Can you buy silver at a discount? I have. I've bought it, $2, $3 on the spot. Same with crypto. I know guys who have transacted cryptocurrencies at a discount because they needed cash quick. But it's way easier to buy real estate at a discount because there's so many factors. Broken windows, roof is leaking, bad tenants. There's so many reasons that people get out of real estate. As agents, there's more money working with buyers than anybody else. There's more buyers on bigger pockets than anywhere else. Again, who's a buyer? Hands to the camp for you, a buyer? Want to buy some real estate, become a millionaire? Yeah? All right. You're on bigger pockets, right? Every one of you. Smart. And if a real estate agent said, hey, look, I got all the deals. I'm going to hustle it. Let's do it. I'm going to take care of you. You would close, right? You go with them.
Do you have any, I'm assuming I could do kind of the similar thing what you're showing here on that platform too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so Bigger Pockets, and I'll show you how to do it, Elizabeth. So Bigger Pockets, everybody's been in the forums. Yeah. Forums. All right. So browse forums, go to local real estate forums, search by Fall River. So I'll just search for a city I'm familiar with. In the forums, bam, Fall River, Mass, just written in November. So November 16. Well, we'll see if it's still active. Yeah, hey, this is my business partner. Hit that with a vote. All right. So this is what they're talking about is I'm already all over this. Yeah. So I crushed it. Like there I am. I replied about 4 years ago. So let me go back. So I'm living in Tampa. There's no way I did anything down here. All right. All right. Want to sort by latest. So I connect and I say, hey, I see you're in Tampa also. What is your experience in real estate? Also, what are your goals for this year? Do you invest locally? Screenshot that. Once you can figure out Bigger Pockets and you get those screens operating, if you can go through the forums and make consistent contacts like that, that was maybe 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes for reaching out to 3 or 4 people and going into the forums and then saying a couple of different positive pieces, adding a little bit of value. This is reasonable for you to do, right? What it does is those forums stay out there for years. Did you see the one for 4 years ago in Fall River? People, when they type in Fall River, will still go to that forum and still see my name. 4 years later, I've got a ton of votes on it from it just sitting out there forever. So you can't ignore the forums. Yes, obviously the direct message is far more valuable if you're looking to raise capital, if you're looking to find partners, if you're looking to find buyers to buy property with you as an agent, then the messenger is going to give you fast results. But you can't ignore the forums because they're marketing. Seeing somebody positive, seeing somebody add value, seeing somebody, and obviously I spend more time when I'm answering questions out there, but seeing somebody who's delivering to the community gets people excited about working with you. And that's really what you want to create for yourself. An atmosphere of people who are excited to see your name, an atmosphere where they're at and you're at the same place, both looking to buy real estate. You never know who's going to invest with you. You never know who your business partner is going to be. You never know who's going to buy real estate with you. Like, you just don't know. Like, you never know. Make sure you keep putting your name out there. Keep reaching out to people. Keep having conversations. I thought I'd never podcast. I swear to God, I said this. I said I was never going to create a podcast, never going to do that. I was never going to get on YouTube. I was never going to do TikTok, right? I thought, like, I'm never going to do these things. Those things are bringing me deals, right? TikTok's bringing me deals. Snapchat's bringing me deals. I bought a seller finance house off Snapchat 2 years ago or 3 years ago, right? Like, who would have thought that this game gets this way? Podcast. You know why I do the podcast now? Any guesses? Here's one. I never thought I was going to spend money on my coaching. I spent $85,000 over the last 3 years. $85,000 paying the richest, smartest guys in the country because they don't want to spend time with me unless I'm paying them. And I got to pay a lot. Like, those guys are expensive. But I'm cool with it because afterwards, I make more money, right? I make a lot more money because now I've got the connections. The podcast, though, here's a secret for everyone who's thinking about at some point, you want to get connected with the people. The podcast allows me to get free coaching from the richest people on the planet because I bring them on my podcast and they're like, all right, yeah, I do podcast. Like, that's something they do. They say yes to podcasts. So I get them on the podcast and then I ask questions and they're just promoting themselves. But I'm getting all the answers I want, right? I had a syndication attorney the other day. Thank you, Darina. I've got probably 5 or 6 syndication people on the podcast 2 weeks ago when I went heavy on syndications. Darina's got Rod Cleef coming on the call sometime either next week or the week after. Who knows who Rod Cleef is? Big multifamily guy out of Sarasota. So he's probably the biggest syndication guy in the market right now. She hasn't scored Grant Cardone, so she's got to step up her game. But she's done pretty amazing. Let's give Darina a round of applause, helping me get more people on the podcast, really cool people who are just crushing it in real estate. It's free coaching, right? So, like, you don't know what you're going to do a year from now. You don't know what you're going to do 10 years from now, for sure. start looking at where you're already at, you're going to stay right where you're at. We're not in this game to stay still. We're here to grow. You're either growing or you're dying. You're either going up in your income or you're going down in your income. Money doesn't stay flat. Money doesn't sleep. Like Grant Cardone says, it can get bored. So you got to keep it moving. Does that make sense? Inflation is real. If you don't keep your money moving, it will get eroded at. Right? You ever seen the pond? Like things get evaporated? Money's like that. You keep it still, it evaporates. You keep it moving, keeps coming back. More and more show up. But if you don't keep money moving, it will disappear on you. If you don't put it in like a good glass jar, but even in a glass jar, you give it long enough, it comes out the seal, right? We've seen that before. Money's got to keep moving, and it allows you to invest in things that make you more and more money. Real estate's the way to go. And the only way I can do that is with a team who's willing to help other people get rich. And for real estate agents, you guys are my people. Real estate agents, wholesalers, you guys are the ones who are out there finding the deals for investors. You're out there hunting, teaching, training. Look, the reason I teach and train is because I was a real estate agent. That's how you get clients. You got to teach people how to make money in order for them to make money. You want to turn somebody into an investor who can buy a lot of property. You got to learn how to buy a lot of property yourself. Does that make sense? Be the person who is a millionaire and you can build millionaires. And trust me, every single one of you can do it. If you stuck around this room in this conversation, you didn't get scared of money this whole time. You're like, all right, yeah, cool. I want to make some equity. All right, I want to do some deals. Then you're the kind of person who can do this. Everybody else, when they saw how to work with investors, they didn't sign up for this call. Does that make sense? You're different. You're somebody looking to build wealth. That's what makes you different. That's why we're here. We're a community looking to build millionaires. Now, your debts are your opportunity and your enemy at the same time. You fight those things down. You destroy them. You crush them. But you always, always go out and get them again. Right? Like no hero doesn't have an enemy. You got to go have an enemy. At some, like you got to have something to fight, right? And in order to get rich, you got to borrow some money. Like all the economy is based on debt. So you got to go borrow money. Like for me and Darina, right? I would not be in a relationship with her if I didn't first say I'm committed. Right? Like first, I'm committed. Right now, she's gonna be like, okay, well, I'll think about it, right? So it's the same thing with money. You gotta say, look, I'm gonna pay this, and if you do, then like, oh, here's more money. But if you don't, hold on, wait till you pay the rest, right? That's what credit is.
That's
Chris, clean up your credit. It won't take you long. 2 months, 1 month, 3 months, whatever you decide is gonna take you.